Hello, blessed people, and welcome to a new episode of the World of Destined, the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the second episode of season 1 of Destined. It is called The New Face of the Charm Ones. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So let's dig into episode 2 of Destin. As I mentioned before, the episode's name is The New Face of the Charm Ones. Let's read the summary first. So it says, Bewitching the Demon. Hold on tight for another spellbinding demon slaying episode of Destin. Because when 6 Destined ones are kidnapped by demons, it's suddenly a scramble to free them. Meanwhile, a mysterious she-demon appears to wreak a bug for the Halliwell witches. They are armed with a secret weapon that the she-demon doesn't see coming. But the Halliwells aren't the only ones with a secret to hide, because this she-demon has a special connection to the original charm ones. Elsewhere, Prue, Melinda, and Tamora find out a destiny that is made specially for them. Okay, that was the summary for the second episode of Destin, the second episode of season 1 of Destin. So, as you know, in this episode, we are going to meet a new set of charm ones. Because obviously, Piper, Phoebe, and Paige had to, step back eventually to retire. No one lives forever, right? So they had to step back. And you might ask, but wait, we have the power of 9. Why do we need the power of 3? Is it the power of 3 stronger than the power of 9? Well, for some, the power of 3 might be the strongest power that has ever existed. But in Destined universe, the strongest is actually the power of 9 or the twice blessed power. The power of 3 it's not like the power of 3 is not strong. It is, obviously it is, but if you look at the whole picture, the power of 9 is nothing more than the power of 3 times 3. Um, but there has to be um, someone to who could take over um, the charm one's status. You know, um, 3 witches that could step forward and say, okay, we don't have the power of 9 now, but this demon can be vanquished by the power of 3 only. So we don't need the whole gang together to vanquish this demon. And we can look at the previous episode when we meet Ayasha. Ayasha probably, when they vanquish Ayasha, they use the power of 9, right? Um, and if they use, in case they had used the power of 3 to um in on Ayasha, it would probably cause him to be banished. Just that. But with the power of 9, they were able to vanquish Ayasha. Yes, it is confirmed Ayasha is vanquished, but as I said before, not everyone remains truly dead when it comes to a fantasy show. So who knows? But just to explain this, the power of 3, yes, it is powerful, and there is a new set of charm ones who are going to take over uh, to take over. Um, but the power of 9 is stronger than the power of 3. Another thing that is important to say about this is that um, the 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 three new charm ones we are going to meet in this episode, they can channel the power of nine. This is a bit complicated to explain because then you're going to say, okay, then the power of three is stronger than the power of nine because they can channel the power of nine. Yes, they can, but also everybody else any one of the destined ones can do that because, like I said before, the power of nine is nothing more than the power of three times three. Okay, if you have any questions about this, please ask. It is a bit complicated to explain, but this is it. Okay, let's have this in count. The power of nine is stronger than the power of three. Um, and if you may ask, yes, the twice blessed power is stronger than the power of nine and the power of three. This in destined universe. I'm not speaking um, in the Charm universe or in any other spin off universe. This is the Destined universe, the one I created. So, if you have any questions, I will try to explain this better. But to conclude this thought, any one of them can channel the power of nine. Obviously, it is easier if it is the shamans to do it. And another thing about this matter is that from this time on, in every generation, there will be shamans. So let's say that Piper, Phoebe, and Paige were the star of the shamans. And another thing that is important to say, because we have the the um, the spin-off Legacy. If you have read Legacy, you will see that um, they are not the nine people in the nine witches in Legacy. They are not the destined ones. They are the descendants of the destined ones. So there's no power of nine there. There is the power of three. Um, and of course, the power of nine can be recreated, but in this case, it will be more complicated. I mean, it's not impossible if they work, they train, and all that, they can reach the level of the power of nine, of course. But in this case, we're talking about um, they are like the grandkids of these characters from Destin. So we could speak about the power of 300 maybe. No, I don't think they don't. They are not 300, but okay. Um, but it is just to explain that. So you have in here the power of nine, but you won't have the power of nine that easily in the next generations. It's probably if they join together, all the offsprings of the destined ones, they can create something more powerful than the power of nine. But these ones, these nine destined ones are the charm ones offspring. So the power of nine belongs to them. Yes, it can be recreated, but we're going to talk about that when we get to legacy. We are still in destined right now, so let's not get into that because it is a little bit confusing even for me, to be honest. When I talk about this, I have to when I talk about this in the show, I have to try to separate the ideas and all that stuff because it is really complicated. But if you have any questions, please ask, and I'll try to be as clear as possible. So back to the episode. This episode is the first episode where we see everybody in action. And when I say everybody in action, I don't mean fighting demons. I mean living their lives. So they are normal people. Well, kind of. But they have jobs, they have relationships, all that stuff. So, as I said, episode one was to get to know them. In episode two, we get into their lives. So, let's talk about that. This episode starts in P3, and as we all know, P3 was previously owned by Piper. And but by the end of Charm, we learn that Piper um, ends up selling the bar and having her own restaurant. So how does P3 fits in the story? So yeah, P3 was bought back by Prue. And we're gonna get into P3's history later. But yeah, she owns the bar. And why Prue? Why not, I don't know, Melinda or Wyatt or Chris? Well, because I think Prue has the right personality to own P3. You know, she's strong willed, she's fierce, and sh- it was she mentions this eventually in the show, but it was her like it was her dream to own the P3. Um, P3 was a meaningful place for everybody. You know, if you watch Charm, you'll know that, and you know that after Prue's death, Piper tried to change things a little bit. She even named she let the P3 name be changed to, I think it was the Spot or something like that. I don't remember quite well, but she ended up, getting back to P3. And so the bar has a meaning for everybody, including for us, the fans. So yeah, that's why I had to have P3. And being Prue, the person she is, I have to have her like the manager of P3, the owner of of P3. And so obviously we start the episode with Prue trying to get an artist to sing in the place, and artist performs in the end of the episode. In this episode, we also meet someone that is going to be very important for the show, and that someone is Leah. Leah, it's kind of the big bad of season one. And I can tell you that Leia was a bold move for me back then, back at the beginning when I started Destined. Because, it was Leia was the daughter of the late Source and the late Seer. So, what? The Source and the Seer? Obviously, when I had this thought, I thought like, no, 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 this is not going to work. But then, considering everything that happened in Charm in season four, I thought it was cool, to have this, because if you remember well, the seer tried to. She didn't try. She did it. She stole Phoebe's baby from the womb, um and because she wanted the power, she wanted to become the source herself. But the source eventually would the place of the source eventually would be taken by the child. So I think this whole thing about Leah explains a little bit of why the seer did what she did in season 4 of Charms. I'm not saying that this was the real reason. Obviously, it's not, because I don't know what was in the writer's mind. This is my vision of it. Um, so because Leah, at first, when she's born, Leah is powerless. She doesn't have any powers, and that's why she was raised away from her real parents, which are who are the source and the seer. Um, and that's why the seer's goal was to, to offspring the to be the mother of the source's heir, you know, and that's why I thought this would make sense, um I don't know if I mean I can picture the source and the seer together, but come on, um you don't understand love, so it maybe was in love, because I don't think the source was could be able to love, but okay, I think it was, he was a man after all, and she was a woman. So let's work with this. um but yeah, this Leah explains why this year was the way she was and act the way she act in season 4 of Charm. So we first see Leah plotting against the Destined One. She wants to get them because she wants to become the new source of all evil, and she wants to get them. And we see her planning to get the 9 of them inside of a cage. And yes, that is the same cage we saw once in Charm. Um, when the seer imprisoned the 3 charm ones inside. So yes, moving on to Act One. We start with Act One with Prue arriving in the Halliwell Manor and looking for her Lucky lipstick. Yeah, who has a Lucky lipstick? I don't. To be honest, I don't. But Prue is a witch. She has amulets. She has so she has a Lucky lipstick, has an amulet, and we have this funny moment between Prue and Wyatt. Um, like Prue walks into the bathroom without noticing Wyatt is there, but Wyatt is there and he's taking a shower, so he's naked. Yes, and well, we have this funny moment. I thought it was kind of cute to have this in here, because I want to have this. It cannot be all the time like drama and drama. It has to be fun too. So yes, that's why this scene is here. But then going back to the drama thing, we learned that the shamans are taking a trip, a last minute trip, and this is actually necessary because considering what's going to happen, the charm ones, Piper, Phoebe, and Paige, couldn't be at home. They couldn't be reachable to save the day, so they had to leave. So Prue, Melinda, and Tamara would accept what's to come. And then we have a Cassandra moment when she tries to, well, she tells Leo that she's not able to attend classes at magic school. At this point we learn that Leo is the magic school headmaster, and we see how Cassandra tells Leo that she's not able to attend the classes, and this is part of Cassandra's personality back in season 1 and maybe season 2 too, because like I mentioned before, she's like, okay, what's the point of being a witch if the rest of the world doesn't know? So what's the point to attend magic school to learn all this stuff if I'm gonna keep it to myself? I can share it with the ones I love, and that's something that's going to haunt Cassandra for a bit, you know. But we are not getting into that right now. Um, because it's not the point right now. But we are gonna learn how she deals with this and the path she's going to take because of that. So um, yeah, also in here, still about this, Charlotte will learn that she's working in magic school. At this point, Charlotte is like an assistant, assistant teacher. And she in this episode she's taking over Paige's classes. Paige is the head mistress of magic school. So she and Leo like share the magic school responsibility. So moving forward. First demon attack in P3 happens in this episode, and that's something that we are going to see a lot in Destined. Demons attacking in P3. They attack everywhere, but it's important to say that P3 it's going to be one of the things they use, one of the places they use the most to attack the Halliwells. Damn demons! Why do they do that? Is the question everybody asks. Obviously, the answer is clear. They are always after the destined one. So yeah. Um, but the bold movement comes when they attack elsewhere. And in this episode, we are also introduced to the Halliwells, which is Piper's restaurant, and it's managed by Melinda mostly. Um, and we have an attack in here. So there is people working in the restaurant. They don't know anything about magic. So it is bold to attack a place with mortals there. And we also have uh, Chris being attacked while working. Chris is a photojournalist in Destin. Um, and they also attack in the police department. Henry sees how two of his children are kidnapped by demons. In this, it's Junior and Pandora. Junior works as a junior detective. It is funny. His his name is Junior, and he works like a junior detective. We're going to talk about the characters later. I'm going to make an episode about the characters and why I picked those names for them. Why only a few go by the P name while the others don't, and all that stuff. But we're gonna have an episode about that later. So yes, at this point, a few of them are being were taken by demons. Um, Wyatt also, so the almighty Wyatt Halliwell is also taken by demons. Wyatt is a reporter at Bay Mirror. He has a column as well, but he works at Bay Mirror, and we learn as well that Phoebe is actually the editor chief of Bay Mirror. So yeah, she grew up professionally, but she's also a romancist. Um, so so yeah, at this point, everybody has been taken by um, by the demons because it is Leah's plan, to to get them inside of the cage. And her plan, as mentioned before, it was to have the nine of them. But she is only able to get six of them. So Prue, Melinda, and Tamara were able to escape. And this is where fate comes, because you may ask, okay, why the three of them? Yeah, because they are going to become the charm ones. So um, they wouldn't figure it out if they were trapped in the cage. So obviously they had to escape that. Um, but yes, this is destiny. This is destiny working in mysterious ways. So Wyatt, Chris, Charlotte, Cassandra, um, Pandora and Junior are inside the cage, and they find out that they cannot use their powers inside of the cage. Well, at least they cannot use their active powers in the cage. So they kind of freak out, because they they weren't counting on that. They were counting on their powers to take them out of there. But this time the powers doesn't work don't work. So they are trapped, and they rush to try to find a way to get out of there. And this is when the six inside the cage get to meet for the first time Leah. And well, at this point, they don't know who Leah is. They will only know who she is later in the episode. But yes, they are the first one to meet face to face with Leah. Um, and they have also they start thinking actually that it is that maybe it is possible to use their passive powers, and in this case, um, Junior, Junior, one of Junior's powers is telepathy. So this is a passive power. So he thinks that he can maybe use this power to get in touch with Prue, because Prue has the power of premonitions. And so, maybe Junior thinks that maybe he will be able to get in touch with her using his telepathic power. So, okay, moving forward, Leo. Leo is also a very important part of this episode, because in here we are able to see a little bit of that why later we met in Charm, because Leo kind of works as a why letter in this episode. In Destin, Leo never becomes a why later again. He's immortal. He decides to stay that way. Um, but the essence is there, he still has uh, the Y letter inside, and in this episode, he's going to act as a guide for the three new charm ones. So he is the one to point the three girls to to the right direction. And so in this episode, Auntie Prue is mentioned again, and Piper, Phoebe, and Paige remember how the way she died. It was Shax, who was sent by the source to kill the charm ones, and he killed only Prue. And they remembered that it was because of the source that Prue died all those years ago. So she's remember. I think it was a good idea to have them remembering Prue every now and then, because it's like I said, we never had a closure, to the Prue situation. We never had a closure, and I felt it was needed, and I wanted to give my own closure to that matter in Destin. So now we, well, Junior tries to contact Prue through telepathy. Um, Prue is trying herself to have a premonition, to find out where the others are. And she has a first vision. In this vision, I want to make this clear, that this first vision she has in the show, it is not induced by Junior. The first vision, it's it happened. It totally happened where she sees. That the others are inside a cage, so the first vision, it's not Junior's doing. Um and and it, Junior is actually having a hard time trying to contact Prue through telepathy. And Chris points out that it has always been difficult to get into Prue's head, and that is totally true. And we will see that very often in Destin. But Junior keeps trying and trying to induce a premonition into Prue's head, and he finally succeeds. And we can see how Prue has two visions. In one, she sees how the seer giving birth to Leah, and in the other one, she sees Leah proclaiming herself as the heir of the source. So yes, they managed to, to find out who this character is and what is she trying to accomplish. And of course, they at first they have doubts that this person is the source's heiress, but Leo kind of confirms that she is. Um and so yes, and at this point um they don't know what to do, because this person, it's e- even if she hasn't been crowned yet, she's the source's heiress. So she uh, you know has many powers as has the source, because she's his daughter. um so they start to freaking out and not knowing what to do about this, and how to vanquish. They start thinking that um maybe they need to call the shamans, which at this point they think that Piper, Phoebe, and Paige are the only ones who are able to destroy the new source. They don't know that that's something they are able to accomplish, in case they decide to embrace the destiny that is awaiting for them. Um, and and here something funny happens, and they start listening to a voice, a voice that says the power of three. So this makes them be sure that the only way to fight against this new source is with the power of three. Um, and you might be questioning who the voice belongs to, and I can say yes. I didn't um, I didn't credit at this actress to the credits, to the cast list. Sorry. Um, I don't know why, but I'm gonna do that because it is important to say that the voice belongs to Penny Halliwell. So yes, when we um, read in this case something that said the voice, the power of three, this is Penny speaking. This is Penny Halliwell speaking. It could be Prue, but let's keep Penny doing this job. She was the one doing it so well in Charm. So so yes, they start questioning if they should call Piper, Phoebe, and Paige to take care of the business. And Leo is there to tell them they don't need to call the mothers to do that because they have the power of three. And and this is something that it is Prue, reaching that conclusion. And she's she doesn't want to believe that that is possible, but Leo is there. Leo is there, and Leo is there to guide them and to tell them yes, it is possible. um and if you read the episode, you'll see that Prue reveals that she always has been attracted to the Dominus Trinus spell. And this is because she always knew she was going to cast it someday. As the show goes on, we are going to see that Prue has a very keen sixth sense. So it's obvious that that she felt like the spell was calling for her, because it actually was. It's like the spell, I don't know, had you know was trying to call for her. That's it. Deep down she knew that that one day, that someday she would have to cast that spell. And um and 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 well, yes, that's what happens. She's reluctant to cast the spell alone, but Melinda and Tamora agreed that it had to be Prue because it was Phoebe who first cast the spell. And at this point I think it is kind of clear that Prue, Melinda, and Tamara, they have the three main powers. Melinda Warren's powers. And we still have to get to the part where I explain why these three women become the new charm ones. The explanation is very simple, actually. Um, Back then, when I started this project, I used to do some research. I still do research, but I realized there was a lot of people writing about, charm fan fictions, and I always saw the same thing. Having Wyatt, Chris, and Melinda becoming the charm ones, or Phoebe's daughters becoming the charm ones. And it was one or the other. It was always the same. Or Piper's kids, or Phoebe's daughters. Um, and I wanted to be different. I didn't want to have what others already had. So I started thinking, how could I make this different? And this is where the idea hit me. We have Piper, Phoebe, and Paige. So we're gonna have in each one of them has at least one daughter. So the eldest daughter will become the charm ones. I don't have I don't have any issue about a man becoming a charm one, but it doesn't fit for me. So that's why I scratch Wyatt and Chris out of this picture, and so I wanted to have three girls as the new charm ones, and the three girls will be the eldest. So the first three eldest girls will become the charm ones, and that's why of every generation. And that's why we have Melinda, Prue, and Tamara, or Prue, Melinda, and Tamara has the new charm ones. In Destin, we don't follow the birth order that we see in the comics. In the comics, I think Prue is like the sixth eldest out of the nine. Uh, in Destin, Prue is the third eldest out of the nine. Then we have Melinda, then we have Tamara, then we have Pandora. So Pandora is younger than Tamara for 7 minutes, I believe. So that's the main reason. I didn't want my Destined to be like any other fan fiction. I wanted to have a different set of charm ones, and that's basically the reason why Prue, Melinda, and Tamara are charm ones, and not Wyatt, Chris, and Melinda, or Prue, Cassandra, and Charlotte, or Tamara, Pandora, and Junior. Because I didn't want to do what others did. And just make this clear, I don't read charm fan fictions. Actually, I don't read fan fictions, to be honest. There's only one I follow, which belongs to a friend of mine, but that's all. I don't read fan fictions, especially charm fan fictions, because I don't want to be influenced by what others write. So yeah, that's the reason, and I wanted to make this clear. So back to the episode, we have Prue casting the Dominus Trinus spell, and they become the new charm ones officially. And it happens everything happens the same way has happened before. The show of lights that happened in Charm when Phoebe cast the Dominus Trinus spell. So the same happens here. The whole show of lights happens. And back to the action. The others are still trying to figure out a way to get out of that cage. They know what's going to happen if they don't get out of that cage, which is Leah succeeding in killing them all. So they decide to call for a lost witch, which is the same that their mothers do back when the seer trapped them into the cage. They cast the spell, they call for a lost witch, and three end up inside of the cage. And these trees happen to be the new set of the charm ones. They don't know that at first, but but they are there to save them. They don't know how yet, but that's the idea, to save them. So when Prue, Melinda, and Tamara arrive into the cage, we have the first face-to-face confrontation of meeting, whatever, between Prue and Leah. And I cannot tell you much about this matter at this point, but we are going to learn that these two have an history together. There is also a connection, and maybe in season 5 you'll understand what's the connection between those two, and you'll be able to to go back and read this episode and see, oh, okay, now I get it. Because there is a connection. Obviously, I I'm gonna be honest. I didn't knew uh, what was going to happen is in season 5 at this point. But when I wrote season 5, I thought that, okay, this makes totally sense, and I can clearly see the first apparent meeting between those two, and it makes sense. But I cannot talk about this right now because spoilers. And so yes. So back to the episode. Um Leah, it's about to become the new source of all evil. And they have to rush quickly. They have to work quickly to get out of this mess. And what happens? They do the obvious thing, which is the power of three spell. And so that spell, we know so well from Charm. It is said for the first time. The power of three will set us free. The power of three will set us free, and the power of three set them free. And the whole ceremony is it's interrupted by this. Many demons end up being vanquished, and the destined ones win this battle. Leah is stopped from becoming the source of all evil. The destined ones made it out of it alive, but they are lacking an explanation, of the why, what happened here, why Prue, Melinda, and Tamara have the power of three. And that's when they head back home, and they explained it, the parents explained why it is the three of them, which is basically what I just said. They are the eldest daughter of that generation. And just make this clear. The next set of charm ones will come from one of them, or the three of them. It depends. But the next set of charm ones will come from any of these three girls. It can be has it happens in has it happened in Destin. Being the eldest of each one of them, in case the eldest are like the three eldest girls of the next generation. So in the next generation, after this one, the three eldest daughters will become the new charm ones, but only if they are the daughters of Prue, Melinda, or Tamara. If you have read up to season 6, you obviously know who are the next three charm ones. But let's not talk about it right now because that's for another season. So, well, the episode ends in the P3 where everybody is celebrating, having fun. We have an artist performing in P3, and the last scene of the episode, it's a scene about Leah. We found out that she's alive, of course. She's in a gypsy village, and she's, stating that this isn't the end, that she's going to be back because she wants to become the source of all evil. She wants to be recognized as the heiress of the source, and she wants to make that clear. And so yes, this is the end of the second episode of Destin. um, of season one of Destin. And yes, from now on, it's where the real thing starts, begins. Um, with Leah making an appearance every now and then, and as I mentioned before, Leah will be very important for Destiny. Not only because she's the first big evil of the show, but also because she will have a connection. She will have important part in season five, but we'll have time to get to season five later. But yes, well, that's all for now. I'll be back next time for a whole new episode of the World of Testing. I hope you had enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, please do ask. Just try to keep in mind that I'm only answering questions about season one of testing right now. So no point in asking about season four or five or whatever, because I'm not gonna answer them until then. The same, it is about Legacy, the Destin spin-off. I'll talk about it when the time comes. So, but yeah, that's all for now. I hope you had enjoyed this episode, and please leave comments, subscribe, um, whatever. Just thank you so much, and see you next time. Bless be everybody.